Hey, so if you're a nervous flyer because you don't like turbulence, my videos would be great for you to watch. My name is Captain Denlinger. I'm an airline pilot and I have been for 10 years, and I do these turbulence reports to help nervous flyers be a little bit more okay with flying. This morning here I'm doing a second report for one of my viewers who is headed out of Miami going across country over to LA. Looks like this route is a pretty smart one to be taking right now. Given the conditions of the weather. You can see in the Midwest right now, there's a nice little line and a pretty big storm system here. Probably I don't know, the most intense or severe storm that I've seen as I've been reporting here on flights recently. You can see there is a good deal of the moderate and then some of the heavy precipitation, associated with that. A handful of different little dots of the heavy or severe precipitation. So this flight is, it's a pretty direct flight, but it kind of has to be. Looks like there's some weather that's forming down here. There's obviously this very big system that kind of stretches across like 3 or 4 states right here. So this flight will be kind of cutting right in between that stuff. So there probably will be some turbulence associated with that when they make their way through there. But other than that, it should be a fairly good flight out to LA this morning. So if we take a further look out here at the pilot reports, we can see coming out of Miami, there's not really anything, which is kind of that's how it usually works. Usually in the morning, especially down south, it seems like usually the mornings are pretty good. By the afternoon, I mean anyone who lives in Florida is kind of just used to there being some kind of a storm develops most afternoons, but mornings are usually pretty good, and that's what we're seeing down here. There's not really there aren't any big storms over Florida right now. So there's actually some off the coast here, but over Florida, around Miami, it looks like they're pretty clear down there. And right now, there's actually, these are down lower, probably some smaller planes flying around down at 2,000 feet, one up here at 4,500 feet, just for smooth air. So yeah, nothing to worry about flying out over Florida. Nothing over the coast or over the water there. And that looks like as you start to get close to this weather, which kind of stretches, down almost to Louisiana here, and then goes up over Kansas, Nebraska, into the Dakotas. It looks like there is a little bit. Looks like that's where the storm probably is moving that way. And they've got some moderate reports down here over northern Louisiana. Um, but it looks like this flight will be flying like kind of down over New Orleans and southern Louisiana. So it should stay away from that. But like I said, just with the weather on either side here, I would probably expect some at least light turbulence as you're making your way kind of south of that main part of the storm there. But yeah, there's some moderate reports right there, and then up here, looks like above Dallas almost. There's actually a severe report, and again, that's where we're seeing the yellow and some of the red here in the storm there for the heavier or the severe parts of the storm. So definitely good that they're going to be staying, well south of that. But there's going to um, they're going to have some turbulence there. Should just be light again because they're flying in between those two storms. But you see, there's that severe report there, then some moderate here, right in the middle of Texas. So it looks like that's kind of where they're going to have to fly to stay out, this little bit of weather and then out of this main part of the storm. So it wouldn't actually surprise me if they would try to stay a little bit further south here to make sure they give that a lot of room. And yeah, they just stay to the south there. I don't think they'll go down here to try to shoot through this hole. This is actually still a good amount. I've said this in other videos, but usually when we find that we're going to be flying close to storms, we try to give the storm, depending on which way the wind is blowing, like 10 to 20 miles between us and where the storm is. So maybe a little bit more, and that probably will satisfy that. That's more room than it looks like. So they may try to stay a little bit further south, but I think they'll probably still shoot through kind of through this hole between that little storm and then the main storm here. So yeah, coming out of Florida over the water, um, should be pretty smooth. Louisiana, starting in Louisiana, probably have the beginning of some light turbulence there, and then once you get out to the south part or the southwest part of Texas and the rest of the way to LA, it should be pretty smooth.